I think the biggest surprise for me is the inclusion of Duke in so many of these episodes this season. Not one, not two, but 3 episodes that he had roles in and been mentioned in the another. In Duncan Gets Spooked, Duke is the one who told the engines about the ghost engine instead of Rusty. He begins it by saying that he has seen a ghost engine in many routes, especially the old viaduct way up in the hills. He also mentions that the reason why the engine tumbles is because that he hit a loose rail on a bridge, which we didn't see in a dense mist. Snow is the most interesting one. The whole intro is different, and it's Duke who told Scaroli's tale instead of Rusty, and to Edward instead of Thomas. One day, Edward stopped to have a rest at Croven's Gate, meets Duke at the sheds. Duke mentions that this winter is bad as the snow of 35, and begins the tale. Duke mentions that Rusty was present during the rescue scene, which creates a bit of a continuity error. It's supposed to be 1935 here. However, at the end, he reveals to himself that he's prone to exaggerate, implying the whole event didn't happen. I love this. It explains the weird continuity issue, and it's a fun little character moment for Duke, the old grandpa who tells tales. In Boulder, Duke takes over Renee's role and gets chased by a boulder. Duke reverses, loses his trucks at the junction, and then crashes into the buffers. He gets a final mention in Discovery, which is confirmed that the abandoned narrow gauge railway in the old mine is indeed Duke's old line. For this, I can say that it's safe to assume that Bertram is the mid-solar engine. You can tell that David saw Duke as one of the core Scaroli guys and felt that he needed to be featured, but the decision to cut him seemed to be out of his hands. As Britt notes in the Snow script, she asked, "Do we really want to rebuild Duke?" Season 5 was the season that they built most of their narrow gauge engines into a larger scale, and maybe she thought that adding a larger narrow gauge tender engine would have been too much for the budget. So Duke was removed for all these episodes and replaced with other characters. A real shame.